I know that your political rulers today have gone publicly, reported by you, for medical checkup. Have not gone.
But there's no law that says they shouldn't go.
Yes, you're right. And I'm not saying it's against the law. I'm saying that the first sacrifice I probably would have made will be, I will not go abroad for medical checkup. If you want to go, pay from your purse. That's one. Two, have you seen a typical convoy? Have you seen that convoy? All those vehicles have drivers. All are maintained. All run on imported PMS. Excuse me. What do you need a convoy of 20 vehicles for?
The convoy of who, sir?
You want to be particular?
Yes, please.
No, too many people use convoys. All the governors use convoys. For example.
We're looking at the budget of the federal government. So
yes.
We have to be specific to the federal government. If you say that...
While you're being specific, you must also be general, because you don't operate in isolation.
I think it's very important because, you know, the state governments also have their own budgets.
They will take a cue.
We're looking at the budget of the federal government. If you're looking at
leadership
the convoy,
is not only hierarchical, it's also moral. They'll take a cue.
Mr. Onovo, I totally understand that. What I'm simply saying is that if we're looking at the federal government's budget, then perhaps we should restrict the convoy we're talking about to the federal government's convoy.
If you insist, that will be your opinion. I think that the Nigerian economy is one economy, and you don't want to patch from this side and cut from this side. You don't want to do that. But if you want to focus on only the federal budget, I give you two indications. First, medical tourism. Second, recurrent expenditure. And that includes the countless number of idle assistants to political office holders. Should political office holders have assistants? Yes. Should one man have 50 assistants? I don't think so. So, how many assistants does a high political office holder need? Maybe a minister. Does he need 20 or 3?
Let me
Is
highlight.
it 10 or 90? You need to be clear about all that, because you have all these people who really do nothing except their names on the payroll.
Speaking about that part, but
so there's so many things you can cut item by item.
But they've also cut some things. Haven't they cut some things? Look at, I think we have 24 ministries now, as opposed to what we used to have before. Isn't that an indication that, look, we recognize that this is overbloated, we can't manage it, and so we cut it down a little bit?
Yes, that was hyped. But if you look at this budget now, that Maupe wants us to focus on the budget. If you look at that budget, you see that it doesn't reflect, because this budget has, in absolute numbers, a higher recurrent budget than what you cut from. So you say you cut, but it grew bigger. In the recurrent, I'm not talking about the total budget. But look at the recurrent today. Now you said you're borrowing, look at the contradiction. You borrow nearly 40% to finance capital development. But only 30% of that is going to capital development. That's a contradiction. What's the challenge here? It's simple.
So the fact that they have over 400 billion earmarks for, say, ministries as power, works, and housing, which they say is about the first time you see that amount of money going to that sector, it doesn't matter.
Well, you have to know that that's 3 big ministries in one. So if you look at that budget and you say, let's split it into 3.
Isn't that a demonstration?
You're talking about 100 and something billion each way. If you say, let's split it. What I'm saying is, how did you get there? Big capital vote is what we all want. That's what we want. That's where you're going. That's what I want. That's what I think the country needs. That's what the government said it was going to do. But what I'm saying, what did the government do? You are borrowing 2.2 trillion and you're putting 1 point something to capital. How do you explain that? So it means you borrowed also for recurrent, because you borrowed more than what you allocated to capital. That's simple. Are we taking sides? It's clear. So if we're doing this, because one thing is what you say, another thing is what you do. And actions speak louder than words.
So for you, I mean, I think my colleague, we first of all started from, you know, what you would have done differently. And for some reason we entered the budget, and then we brought that up again. So considering where we are right now, I mean, we all know that oil prices are down. It used to be, or it still is, the mainstay of this economy, even though we also say we're trying to diversify. What would you have done differently in terms of trying to raise funds for some of the things that you might have promised?
Philosophically, I have a difference with you on that. You know why? What's more important, and I think that's what your previous guest said, what's more important is not revenue. What's more important is how you apply what you have. There is no amount of revenue that's enough for a visionless and wasteful government. There is none. And we have seen it. We sold oil in 2008 for $147 per barrel. Where is the benefit, please? Show me on Enugu Onitsha. Show me Obini Shagamu. Show me a brand new airport. So it's not about revenue. This, and that's why I say I have a philosophical difference. And that's why we end up where we are. It's not about revenue.
But I think that's why Nigeria has voted for change. So if right now, in the process of voting for change, we now have a government of change, as it were, and you're saying that this budget doesn't look like it's a budget of change. It doesn't seem to inspire you.
No. What's happening is that you divert the discussion and you accuse me of diverting the discussion. You have now said we voted for change. That's political. I don't agree with that.
So
let's go back to
what did they vote for?
Let's go back to, did we vote? I voted, but did we really vote? Did the votes count? Did you get 1.9 million votes in Kano without a void vote? You believe that? I was a NEC officer in 1993 under Humphrey Mosu. I have done presiding officer in this country. You got 1.9 million votes in Kano without a void vote? You didn't see videos of underage voting, which is a crime? You cause a diversion, you accuse me of a diversion.
What stops you from going to the court?
Go to which court? The same court that senior advocate of Nigeria, Michael Zekome, went to question the validity of the nomination of General Buhari. What happened to that case? In this country, did General Buhari, in his inaugural statement, not ask the courts to sit up? Is that the court you want to go to? Did Dr. Jonathan not complain about the same courts? Is that the court you want me to go to?
You don't see anything good in so
many.
You
don't see anything good. No, these are facts. Tell me the good side.
Because if you say you had some issues,
I'm sure you have the inaugural speech of Buhari. Bring it.
If you say you had some issues with the elections,
definitely,
and you were a presidential candidate,
yes,
why didn't you approach the courts?
I didn't approach the courts because I knew it would be a waste.
Then, if you thought so, then you shouldn't speak about it because
you speak about it because you want it corrected.
How can you get it corrected? How can you get it corrected?
From your position, it is logically contradictory. Get it very clear. Get it very clear. Get it very clear. Why did we even contest elections? We contested the elections because we claimed that the situation was dysfunctional and needed to be remedied.
How can you get it corrected?
You see, that's the problem. You wait for the answer. Don't jump in. Wait for the answer. We claimed that the situation was dysfunctional and wanted it remedied. Now, we presented a plan to remedy it. And we told you that critical to that plan was leadership. We said that very clearly.
Mr. Onovo, how can you correct it?
Correct which one?
You just said the system is bad. That was why you didn't go to the courts.
And we said critical to that, to remedy it is leadership. You said, how can you correct it? You're not listening. You're just throwing your own position. You need to listen to me.
Mr. Onovo,
I said critical to that is leadership. You didn't hear that?
With your respect,
yes.
I listened to you and I'm asking you, how do you correct that?
How do you correct it? You get your leadership right, you get your policies right, you get your values right, and you get your work programs right.
And if you don't believe in a system like the judiciary, that you say you don't believe in, how can
I said there are issues. At least I don't believe the judiciary. MBA has complained about the same judiciary. Maybe you're not aware that there are issues with the judiciary. The Chief Justice has said that corrupt judges need to be...
that there are issues with the judiciary doesn't mean that they're not good people in the judiciary. It doesn't mean that...
Exactly.
Just a moment doesn't mean that... Just a moment, sir. Just a moment doesn't mean that people don't get justice in the judiciary. So when you say that you did not go to the courts because you didn't...
Did you hear what General Buhari said after
I'm sorry, I think it's very important for me to finish my question. If you say that you did not go to the courts because you didn't think that you're going to get justice because of what everybody else has said about it, what it shows, and I say this, with all sense of responsibility, what it shows, because millions are in people, and it was how you interpreted certain things, is that you don't believe in the courts. I think that's what my colleagues just said. So you didn't have to say it.
No, that's your interpretation.
From your action.
That's your interpretation.
From the fact that you did not go to the court and you're citing all of these examples and the fact that there are certain issues with the court means you don't believe in the judiciary.
No, that's your interpretation. Because you have already taken a prejudiced position, obviously.
It is
And
not
hold on,
prejudice, Mr. Onovo.
You said I don't allow you to ask questions, but you don't even allow me to answer. I just allowed you to ask the question.
Go
Why
ahead
don't
with
you
your
allow me
answer.
to answer now?
Go ahead with your answer, sir.
What I said is very clear. There are issues, and I pointed to others who have complained about the same issues. Now, for my confidence to improve, that doesn't mean it's a zero confidence.